Yeah, but it's okay.
Works. Yeah.
It's totally all right, man.
And the weird audio tonight. That's okay.
Slightly weird audio. Yeah, we're experiencing some technical difficulties and had to adjust. But that's okay.
Be
We made it
creative.
work.
Yeah. All right.
So
Well,
welcome.
yeah. Go for it.
Yeah, this is episode 72 of the update log. I'm Rob, your host. This is Greg, aka Razmataz, our co-host, and yeah, we're gonna have another discussion on an interesting topic that I don't think really. And again, I myself, as someone who has worked on in visual effects and projects related to it, um, you don't really give it much thought on the surface. Meaning, whenever I'm playing a game, I'm not necessarily thinking, oh well, at least consciously, and I can only speak for myself, but like consciously thinking, oh man, that lighting or the way they did that lighting, and the way they did that, layout for this particular section of this level, it's not forefront in my mind. But I have noticed, especially lately, which is probably why I brought the topic up, there have been a couple of games that I've been playing over the last, let's say, 2 to 3 months that have really, you had to stop and look. And one of the major ones being Space Marine 2. Um, and if anyone's played that particular game yet, you know exactly what I'm talking about because Saber Interactive, who's the developer of that game, captured the Warhammer 40k universe down to a T. And what I mean by that, the Warhammer, for anyone who doesn't know, the Warhammer 40k universe is very much, it's over the top. It takes something and turns it up to 100. Um, so, hey, what's up, buddy?
Hey,
Uh,
what's going on?
Not much, man. Just chilling. Chilling. Actually, dude, we're actually going to be talking about visual effects and stuff in games and kind of what effect that has, especially from a player perspective. And I was just talking about Space Marine 2 and
Yeah.
how Saber Interactive hit that one out of the park. I mean, we played it together,
I
and there have been
mean,
times where you had to stop and
you.
just
Oh,
look.
yeah, absolutely. And dude, even I've gone back a couple of times and realized, like, hey, in the jungles, there's actually another like Titan that's just that you wouldn't even know it's there unless you looked around. Um, I mean, the visuals are going to be good in the game when it gives you a epileptic seizure warning right before it starts.
True, true.
So, quick
I think at this
FYI,
point, most.
Rob. Quick
Go ahead.
FYI for everybody. We
No, you're
are
good.
so this episode is going to be live on Twitch, on YouTube, and we're also going to be in the Discord. So if you're part of our Discord, feel free to join us and join in the conversation.
Let's see. Are you guys streaming right now?
We are. Yeah, man, we are.
Huh.
Yeah.
Hang on a sec.
But so yeah, guys, join us if you are part of our Discord, join us in the chat, the lounge chat, in the update log section of the Discord. Yeah, we're doing something a little different.
Look. You guys are amazing. But the link in your Discord, linking to your YouTube and to your Twitch,
It ain't
you
working,
you
homie.
you connected them as one link, and
Yeah.
it just is confused.
I noticed
Oh,
that
okay.
after I posted it. It's
All
okay.
right, Roger that. Thank you, Insomnia Night. Thank you,
You're welcome.
and
You're
welcome
welcome.
in, buddy.
I would hang out and stay, but I am normally busy on Wednesdays.
Yeah, nah, no problem, bud.
All right, you guys rock. I'll be in the chat if when I can.
Awesome. All right, but yeah, sorry guys, we've got a couple things we need to fix, but well, Greg is gonna take care of that. But yeah, as I was saying, you know, there are Simon, now you did do your good deed for the day. Much appreciated, man. But now I'm off track. Anyway, yes, visual effects, video games. Yeah, like at least for me. And again, I want to get the audiences. Greg, I want your opinion on this too. Are there any games out there that you've played, and we'll say recently, and work our way back, that have really that have kind of pulled you in from a visual effects standpoint? You know, it could be it the lighting, the music, the the design of multiple elements, like lighting and just ambient sound put together to kind of cause you to stop and be like, you know what, that's really good.
I'm surprised you have to ask me, man. I mean, the number one.
I have a feeling what you're gonna say, but
Well,
I'm gonna let you say it.
2077. That's
Yeah.
it is definitely a treat for for all the senses. But they did a fantastic job with that, and the ray tracing piece, everything that's gone into that game. Even though it had a rough start, but it is a fantastic visual experience. So
it really is. That's another game that I was probably going to mention. There are a couple of them, but I was going to mention that one as well because, it all of the elements that go into visual effects, and there are many, everything from lighting to ambient occlusion and like you said, the ray tracing and all those kind of different elements, and particle effects and bloom. Even though I hate bloom, I turn that shit the fuck off whenever I play a game. I'm sorry, I can't stand bloom and motion blur. Those are elements that I always turn off just because I don't like them. But they do add a sense of they add to the immersion of a video game. And as we'll see here in a little bit, we'll get to talking about it, to a TTRPG in some ways. But yeah, it's one of those things where I don't think as players we necessarily think about on a day-to-day or session to session, I guess I should say. It's probably a better way to put it. Because we're so used to it now. We're so used to, the particles and this and attributing to the look of a game where we're not consciously thinking about it. But the thing with visual effects, and when they're done right, they do so many more things than just make the game look cool. A perfect example is scale. From a design perspective, quality visual effects like lighting really help give you information on what it is you're doing in the game. Perfect example is particle size. You can use that to define a particular area of influence, be it, we'll say, like, calling in an orbital strike, and you'll see that reticle get put on the ground, just an example in some games. Or something will denote that where that attack is going to hit. All those visual cues, audio cues, that's all supplied by the visual effects and the design of a game. And when they're done right, as we've just talked about, you don't necessarily realize it. You don't really it doesn't really click that's what's going on. It's you just like, okay, this is just an awesome attack or piece of the game flow. Oh, sorry, I'm a little sick. But what about you, Frey? What what games have kind of stood out for you, like in those terms?
Hmm.
And what about them? Was it the lighting, the ambient, the ambient sound, music, even?
I mean, the main one I can kind of recall on, though I've not played it very often as I used to, is honestly Elden Ring. When I first started playing that, uh, like talking about the atmosphere and just the effects and everything, that was I don't know, something about jumping on the horse and going through the densely wooded area, and you can hear the wind blowing in all the trees and the leaves actually rustling and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, the magnificent soundtrack score of that game. Um, I don't know. I'd often, if I was like playing late at night, more often than not, I would end up just falling asleep because of just how relaxing it was in most cases. But no, that's a game that I kind of feel like nailed a pretty good amount of just environmental effects and atmosphere and whatnot. What else?
I mean, right? Take a minute and think about it, man.
I can hear you now.
That's all right. I
Greg
can
has a
only
voice.
speak in one or the other.
Damn.
Yeah, we're having some audio issues.
All the audio issues. It's great. Um, it's like a dead horse everyone beats, but Baldur's Gate 3 I think is probably also one of the other more visually appealing games that I've played as well, and I still play it.
Oh yeah, yeah. I haven't actually logged on to that one in a minute. And
No,
for those, quick question, Greg, can everybody hear the Discord sounds from the lounge chat in
Probably.
should
Twitch?
be able to.
Probably.
Hang on a minute, I'm gonna listen to
Okay.
myself talk real quick on Twitch.
All right.
Yep.
So I don't want to. Cool. All right. So yeah, I unfortunately haven't really booted that up recently. I have to though. I gotta
Oh, you
actually
have to. The mods are amazing.
yeah,
They're
get back
so
in there
good.
and start finishing it. Just because it's it's a fantastic. First of all, it's a fantastic game. But cool. But yeah, like it's. I mean, it is one of the more visually stunning games of the last couple of years, and for me, it's obviously I think well not I think I know it's all it's all playing into the immersive aspect of these different elements of the the shapes, colors, the even things like timing of attacks, and then you see that in if you ever played uh, God of War Ragnarok. There's this particular attack sequences and things that you can do that'll have things like lighting and particle effects and sound and all of these elements that wrap up for this one little element. For again, it's like a block. It's a the parry effect, and the way they've designed it allows us as players to garner a ton of information, essentially how to play the game, but it's done in such a way that it doesn't remove you from the game, which I think is honestly a hugely fine line to walk. And unfortunately, when you see it done poorly, it's at least for me, it's jarring and it's noticeable. And I think one of the major ones for me, and I'm thinking about what are the games that kind of pulled me out of it. It was actually a game that I was playing recently.
best atmosphere is Gollum, of course.
Gosh, Jesus Christ. No. Oh my God, Gollum.
How about now?
I'm gonna say something. Can you hear me now?
Let me see.
I can hear you loud and clear, but I'm hearing it through Discord.
Can you hear me
Yep.
now?
Yeah, I can hear you on my phone. So.
Okay.
Had great sound, Fox.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and unfortunately, I haven't figured out how to get my sound in both.
The sound of the infected, honestly, was probably my favorite thing. All the clicks and stuff that they made. Damn.
All right, so Harper says for them, they would say State of Decay 2, which they're currently playing, hearing the sound of the crunch when you hit a zombie with your vehicle. The eerie feeling when you're out near one of the plague hearts. I've seen a few good effects like that in zombie survival games. Yeah, The Last of Us is another one. That was by Foxy. The clicking of the
quadriceps zombies.
The fucking cordyceps. Yeah. You keep saying quadriceps. I'm like,
tomato. I don't give a damn. Anyhow.
But yeah, no, I hate The Last of Us only because those things exist, and I know I'm getting off on a tangent, but I gotta have to get this out. Those things exist, and thankfully we have a friend. Well, we have a friend because Brand knows them, who's a virologist. Who I grilled them on this, and it's highly unlikely that it would ever happen. But unlikely does not 100% certainty make. Okay, that's all I've got to say.
That's going.
I can't hear you, Greg.
That's going a little far, I think. You can't hear me?
No, I can hear you now. Okay. I think it was the second your mic was taking it to pick it up.
There we go. But yeah, that's taking it a little far where you got to go to a virologist to ask them whether this is possible or not. I mean,
listen, you've seen The Last of Us, correct?
Oh yeah.
I don't need that. I hate mushrooms enough as it is. Okay, I don't need that. I don't need to be turning it. I don't need to have the possibility of turning into a mushroom person living in the back of my mind. Okay, I don't.
Oh yeah, you don't like mushrooms.
Why not?
No, hell no. I will burn it all down. I will burn it the fuck all down.
Spiders. Rob, however, horrified of mushrooms.
No, I'm not horrified of mushrooms. I'm horrified of turning into a mushroom person.
The clickers, though, are an awesome thing. The clickers are an awesome thing to randomly throw into an adventure somewhere, especially a modernized one like Cyberpunk.
I mean, Biotechnica. I wouldn't put it past them, man. Biotechnica is, if a company's gonna do it, Biotechnica is gonna do it. So.
Never saying. I'm not saying I would ever do something like that. But.
Yeah, bullshit. I already see the wheels turning, man. I know you well, and I already see the fucking wheels turning.
I already did it.
Need I remind you, there was that one mission that we did into a city where there were fucking zombies.
Good times.
Oh yes,
good times.
You'd think I forgot. I have not forgotten.
You remember?
I still remember
the underground biolab, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, with the plants that make you hallucinate and shit.
That was the good stuff.
Yep. I fucking remember. Good thing we didn't have Scotty with us because he probably would have tried to turn those into drugs.
That's fair.
Oh man. But yeah, sorry, back on well, you know what, all of this kind of blends into the topic of kind of effects and again, you know, visual effects have made their way into tabletop gaming by way of a couple of different things. But go ahead, Greg.
The broad spectrum of what we're talking about tonight is player agency. I mean, and that's you know, across all platforms, video games. Mm-hmm. It's the player agency is definitely different in video games and tabletop, two very different things.
Yes.
But you know, that's player agency is extremely important, and it is the one, you know, you get the visual in all of the aspects that we're talking about right now with games through video games. you know, and it's you get that, you know, immediate dopamine shot or whatever you want to call it. Because there are some really awesome games out there. And, you know, obviously I said Cyberpunk 2077, but I mean, Baldur's Gate 3 is equally, I mean, that is an awesome visual and, you know, just the whole experience to it. And there's a lot of really good games like that at this point. There's some bad ones too, but there's a lot of really good ones out there. But the limit to it is really the player agency piece, because there's still only so many things that you can do.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a limit, and clearly within the realm of player agency, mixing, you know, with the topic of visual effects and how visual effects marries itself to that player agency. Again, you know, allowing visual auditory cues to make a decision. You know, we'll one of the biggest things that is used, and I mean, obviously we all know this, but again, it's one of those things you don't really think about. Shapes. You know, your simple polygonal shapes, circles, squares, triangles, you know, and every, you know, derivation thereof, you know, spheres, cubes, and cones, I guess, are a good way to state that in the 3D space. You know, those are all used to create the worlds that we see. Everything from God of War Ragnarok to Halo Infinite to Baldur's Gate 3, all of them have those essential elements in there, and the way they utilize. And here's the thing: a cube is a cube is a cube, right? But the way that the visual effects artist of a particular game utilizes that, not only in just the character model, but the environment, will inform you in the particular way for that game. Now, there are commonalities between, you know, games and between usage of certain polygons and stuff like that, certain shapes and structures. That has become commonplace, hence why you can pick up, you know, one first-person shooter, play that, and go to a different one, and have some reasonable ability to play that just as well. Be some differences. There'll be some changes based on color palettes and things like that. But and again, all that, like as Greg was saying, all that is specifically designed to enhance player knowledge and agency. Basically, give you the information for a particular thing, and then give you the freedom to do what it is you're going to do with that information. So you see in this case, you see the Space Marine 2. You see the Lictor about to attack. Do you hit your block or not? Do you say, screw it, I'm just going to take it to the face? And it's up to you. You're given the cues to do what it is that you want. You know, and again, that thing that really sticks to me as I was looking at, you know, elements of this particular topic is that the way that it's done doesn't pull you away from the story. Like it doesn't divorce yourself from it, which is really, really important, because one of the biggest things for me whenever I'm playing a game is the immersive feeling that I'm having. Do I feel like I've stepped into this particular game? Do I feel like, you know, I'm immersed in the story and the actions that I'm taking, or am I just sitting here kind of pushing buttons? And there are some games where it's going to feel like you're just pushing buttons. You're just kind of going through the motions, which, as we've seen a lot of those games, and again,
all right, hold on. So let's engage Frey. I mean,
yes,
you talk too much, man. Just got to tell you.
I do talk too much. I'm sorry, and I apologize for that. Get on a roll.
You're good. Let's just get Frey. He joined us tonight in the Discord, and we opened this up tonight for Discord members to join in the conversation, share their thoughts, their ideas. And we have one of our community who's in the Discord with us right now, Freybrand. You can hear him in the background there. So let's ask some questions of him, get some little different perspective here. And hey, if you have a perspective you would like to share, then please do jump into the Discord.
Please drop it in chat. Yeah. You drop it in chat, or join our Discord and jump into the conversation. So yeah, Frey, like what do you think? Like what again, like I said before, what elements from whatever games you've played, and you can even go as far back as you want, have really kind of stuck with you from a VFX standpoint, that you see commonalities elsewhere, or you wish more games would use?
Oh damn, really putting me on the spot there. Let's see. Let me have a big think here. Hang on. And by big think, I mean I need to take a drink real quick.
Take your time, man.
Okay. We
Let's
don't condone alcohol use on this channel. So, let's see. See, like, when it comes to visual effects, I don't know. I think it's dependent on like the game that I'm playing. See, for me, I'm not too huge on visual effects, but I will notice it in games that do a very good job at it. That was
Yeah.
kind of a nothing burger sandwich answer, but
no, I get where you're coming from. So when you say
I like a good nothing burger every once in a while.
I actually don't like a good nothing burger because there's nothing fucking there. I want the burger, goddammit. But when you don't worry, I know what a nothing burger is. But when you were stating that you're not really a big VFX person, like, what do you mean by that? Like, you're equally good playing something like Space Marine 2 and like old school RuneScape. Is that kind of what you're getting at?
You are 100% correct on that, because for me, I think I'm one of the last few individuals who don't have to be entertained by too many shiny things. One of the games that I have been playing for a while now that I actually really like is Core Keeper. And Core Keeper is almost kind of like Stardew Valley, in the sense where it's just like a little survival crafting game, and it's top down. I've always been more of a gameplay person, but I think that kind of summarizes it really.
Okay, so
Although when it does come to like things that are good visual effects and whatnot, I mean, like, obviously there's Space Marine 2, there's Elden Ring. I liked Baldur's Gate 3 because I feel like it really kind of nails the environment very well, with no matter where you are, whether it's outside in the woods or in the cave systems in the Underdark. I don't know. Sometimes I don't know. Sometimes like the old visual effects stuff too, from like old games. Like I used to play a lot. Like you mentioned, RuneScape. Those kind of just stick with me as well for nostalgia reasons. But
RuneScape.
yeah.
No, I completely understand. I understand where you're coming from, man. Because I still play games like that. Like I play Stardew Valley, and kind of low poly games that don't have a lot of the shine and the the big huge wide effects.
The style of game that it is, I mean, Stardew Valley actually it has a pretty large following. So, and you don't mind the graphics are cheesy. So
I don't make fun of you for playing games like that. All right, let's get that straight, Harper. I tease because you tend to play a lot of the same games, like same genre of game, which is not bad. I mean, that's your genre. That's your genre. I ain't gonna.
You like what you like, Harper. All good.
Exactly, I like what you like. So Foxy Project brings up, let's see, Final Fantasy VII. Oh man, that's a nostalgia trip.
Oh god.
I remember playing the fuck out of that game and Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy X was great because it was one of the first Final Fantasy games that was voice acted, almost fully voice acted too, from what I remember. But yeah, I mean, both of those games again had really good for the time visual effects that informed the player and also added to the universe that you were in. And it's just and here's the thing, VFX have been around for a bit, and they have been around video games, especially for a long time, and they have really very much migrated to almost all forms of entertainment at this point. You see them in TV, obviously you see them in movies, we see them in all those things. And what I like about the art of visual effects and information that they give, they do the same thing, whether it's a video game, whether it's a movie or a TV show. They did to inform you as the viewer, in the case of movies and TV, and inform you and your choices as a game player.
Hey, survival crafting games are awesome, and
They are.
one of the things that that really gets me engaged in the game is if it has even a halfway decent crafting system, an economic system to it, because I enjoy that stuff. I enjoy builders.
Yeah, you are a crafting kind of guy, but I don't know. Honestly, I have not played a game that has really done either of those two aspects justice. Well, the crafting piece, I've played a couple. There's been a couple. It's like Once Human, which is actually a really really great game that's out now, completely free to play. It's a Korean studio, I think, came out with it.
Tell you what, 7 Days to Die.
7 Days to Die, yes.
A lot of the combinations and like the material combinations and stuff like that make absolutely zero sense. But it's a great survival game. It's a great builder.
Okay, so Cozy Project says 7 Days to Die is their cozy game. Okay, so what do you think of it now that it's out of early access? I haven't played. I haven't touched it since before early access. I saw a couple of things that I don't really want to go into now because it's kind of a negative, and I want to be negative.
Depends on the platform you're playing it on.
Pertaining to the game.
It on.
Yeah,
I mean the Xbox version is different from like PC version. Yeah, as far as the options that you have. Well, there's some other minor differences as well, but I'm kind of on the fence on that too because I've been playing it for a long time, so I've seen many different iterations of the game, and I think all the core characteristics have stayed pretty much the same. But the release edition of it added in a lot of the more traditional mechanics.
I'm what you need. I'm what you want.
Oh my. Thank you for that, Jenny.
Dear Lord, was that?
Welcome in.
But I think the actual release version added in a lot of the mechanics that you'd expect from video games now, like the level progression piece, difficulty progression with leveling. That was there, but not the same as it is now.
Okay. So Foxy says they really enjoyed some of the changes they made, and it's great for streaming because Twitch integration, chat gets to participate. I need you to expand on that participation piece because I've seen some of it, but like, what do you mean? What do you mean? And yeah, to that second comment of there's tons of mods that allow you to overhaul the game. Yes, there are. There was at one point when I first started playing 7 Days to Die, there was a couple of YouTube videos that I had come across about basically mods that imported Fallout into 7 Days to Die and completely changed the look of the game.
Foxy, that's why I don't stream that game, because that's all I would be doing the entire time is fighting spawn monsters, I'm quite sure. Or dying. One of the two. Yeah.
Huh.
I have somebody who
I-
is a fellow 7 Days to Die player just jumped into the chat with us with Jenny, so
Yeah. So Jenny, we're gonna get your 2 cents on this. I didn't know that
Fallout mod.
Twitch chat could drop in loot boxes to help you out or zombies to try and kill you. That's kind of cool. Did not know that though. Huh.
Yeah, the integration's pretty neat, and that's one because Foxy actually streams that game quite often, and very entertaining, by the way. So you get to see all the interactions, and her community tends to do lots of things. Not all of them nice, but can't be nice all the time.
No, you can't be nice all the time. I mean, what's a stream community if they're not trying to kill the streamer, right?
Yeah, that would
In the
be-
game, I mean, in the game. To clarify here.
So, Jenny,
Okay.
you want to tell us what is your opinion when it comes to 7 Days to Die? If you're talking, I can't hear you.
Is Greg asking me a question right now?
No, that's directed at Jenny.
Yeah, she
okay.
can't hear me either.
We
then.
can't hear Greg in Discord right
Yeah.
now, because he's muted. Because his mic refuses to work, apparently.
Yep.
It can't
Because it
handle it.
echoes on stream.
Yeah, it's only letting me talk in one or the other. I think if I'm talking in Discord, I'm probably echoing on stream.
You are.
Oh,
That's rough.
yeah. Greg had to work to do some maintenance, but it is what it is. Sometimes technology likes to be an asshole. But yeah, Jenny. So what's your take on?
We made a last minute decision to do this, 2 platforms and Discord all at the same time, and we probably shouldn't have done that. But hey, it is what it is now.
Mm-hmm.
You want my honest opinion on 7 Days to Die?
Oh, boy.
Yes.
I think they have failed to follow through with what they have committed. To explain, one of the things they were had a lot of people extremely excited about was having additional NPCs, because unless you play with people, it kind of feels dead sometimes when you're by yourself.
Fair.
I agree with that.
And then I think the price increase when it released was absolutely freaking ridiculous. It tripled in price from early release to full release. And there was nothing new added between early release and full release. It went from like $14.99 to $50. And they didn't add anything new when they did the full release. The game itself has been fun. I've played it a bunch. But the failure to follow through was something that they had been promising for like 4 different patches, and then to triple the price with nothing added was very disappointing.
Classic.
Fair. Okay.
I think one of the negative things for me was not being able to access your older version games.
Oh, so they also deleted like past saves and stuff like that when
Well, they
release
didn't
came out.
delete them, but you can't load them.
You can't play it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's right, because the versions are yeah. You can't load an older version because the versions are probably, I wouldn't say drastically different, but again, the different builds from a coding and software. But yeah, it won't work. Okay, that's unfortunate. I did again, not to get down a rabbit hole of what they decided to do from a business perspective, because it's not the topic of conversation. But yeah, the price hike might have not been the best, especially to that degree. Because I think when I started playing, I did get it, or I think Jenny, you got it for me was
right before.
before. Yeah, and it was because I was looking at the game myself, and it was $14. But
I think I've had it long enough. I never paid anything for it.
Satsi, I will agree.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so there is actually a story to this particular game. I never
Minute.
I never got that far in to really start picking up on a story other than
Everything wants to
zombie
kill
apocalypse.
you. That would be the easiest way to look at the story. There's like 7 AI living people in the world, unless you have other players join your game. Otherwise, everything pretty much except for like wolves and coyotes and rabbits and snakes is I guess there's some bears and whatnot, but pretty much everything's dead and wants to kill you.
Fantastic.
Yeah. I love the crafting aspect of it. Like I get called a mole when I play because I pretty much go bury myself underground and collect mining resources. So
Nothing wrong with that.
And one doesn't want to kill you. You probably want to kill. Yeah, it's a killer to be killed world out there.
Oh yes, definitely that guy. That guy is the most annoying thing about the game. I wish that you could kill him. I would probably pay for that if you could just. Yeah.
Now, one of the things that I kind of want to segue into here for our topic of conversation tonight, the hope circling back to the core of this and visual effects and kind of things like that, is the player agency piece, moving to TTRPGs. And obviously, we're not pulling visual effects out of our ass at table unless you're using, like a virtual tabletop, which we've all seen. At least I have. I've seen folks, break out a huge ass table with like an embedded like, TV essentially, or a huge touchpad that has like, Roll20 or,
Hammer
Foundry in it.
Hammer game. I think it's Hammer Games. I think the name of it's Hammer, but it's a company that makes gaming tables.
Yeah, I know they were having it's either them or because I know there's a couple of companies that have been doing that. I think I remember the one you're talking about, and they had a Kickstarter for a while where it was like $300 or something for a huge gaming table with, a huge, sizable. I guess the best way to put it is like a touchpad where you can, set up your Roll20 and then have people, playing the game and stuff like that.
I suppose if you wanted to combine like a VTT experience with that, but yeah. If I'm going to play tabletop, I want to play tabletop. I don't want to.
So you don't prefer all the technical bells and whistles.
Well,
you just want a standard.
Didn't say
okay,
that.
All right, go ahead.
If I'm going to set around, let's put it this way. Okay, so if I'm going to set around a table, like in the same room with everyone, then I don't want to, revert to a video screen. That's like, hey, let's all sit here in the same room and chat on our phones. That's
fair. I don't think that's how the tables are set up for that particular company. I think it's just like that touch screen and the thing. Although, I wouldn't be surprised if some people actually do that. Everybody's sitting at their like laptop or something or at a computer in the same room. It's kind of like a LAN party. It's kind of like a LAN party.
My daughter does that to me all the time. She'll be setting in like the living room area, and I'm in the dining room area, and she'll be sending me texts. I'm like, seriously? You don't even have to yell
5
for me to
feet
hear
from you.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, I'm 5 feet from you. You can call out to me. I will agree. I do hate that. Like if we're in the same general space, that you could literally lean over and look at me like, what the fuck you doing texting me? That is strange. Yeah. But okay, so yeah, visual effects and the tabletop RPG experience. Now, for those of you who've ever played or ever used this, anyone here ever played with Tabletop Simulator, the OG VTT back in the day? Because I did. That was actually my first foray into the VTT space. Was years and years ago, before Roll20 and Founder and all of them, and Alchemy and all that. Steam had the virtual tabletop where people would play D&D on, and people had to set up boards, and they had effects and mods downloaded and all that stuff. So that's why we're kind of segueing to, again, visual effects for VTTs. And I mean, let's face it, VTTs are here to stay. And WotC is coming out with their own proprietary one soon-ish. Some people have gotten to play it.
Well,
Yes, definitely.
WotC's driving the AI piece as well. That's continuing,
Yeah.
ongoing. But I think when it comes to tabletop RPGs, I agree with what Foxy's saying. I think I much prefer to sit down at a table with people and play. But the VTT experience is not bad, especially sometimes everybody's remote, and a lot of times it's hard for people. Let me put it this way: it's not difficult for DMs to find groups, but it can be really difficult for players. People who don't, they don't want to have that responsibility. They just want to play a character. They just, want to be able to sit down and relax and enjoy themselves and tell some great story with some other people. Maybe not even people that you know. So when it comes to being a GM, VTT, it's just another avenue for a game. It can be, because you don't get the body language and you don't get all the little extra things that you get sitting across the table from somebody. There's definitely more of a challenge there to telling a good story. But at the same point in time, it's hard to get an in-person group together for a lot of people. So.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, again, we've kind of in the past we've ragged on WotC about the whole, primarily not necessarily the VTT piece in and of itself, but mostly the AI slant that they're going. And again, I don't want to get on that train. But virtual tabletops as a whole, whether it's produced by WotC, whether it's produced by Roll20 or anywhere else, they're not bad things. They fill a gap and a niche that has developed. Obviously, it did develop strongly during the pandemic. That was kind of the heyday of virtual tabletops, for obvious reasons. But I feel like even if the pandemic hadn't happened, virtual tabletops would have still found a foothold.
Look at our personal group. I mean,
oh yeah, exactly. Our personal group is a perfect example.
Well, and it's made up of people from all over the country.
Yep.
There's only 2 of us that live in the same state. Otherwise, they're all from different areas of the country. And we were playing before the pandemic. So yep. I don't think the pandemic did wonders for games in general, and probably for the VTT experience, because it cut the curve down on something anyway, but it cut the curve down on people actually, trying out VTTs because they wanted to be able to have that interaction and play games, and it was just the perfect solution. So VTTs are not bad at all. I mean, they definitely provide some benefits, and when you look at the amount of material and price, but you look at the amount of material that you can get on there and store on there, for like in your games library. I mean, like mine is very, very large. Lots of games in there, but
Yeah,
you
tons
know,
of games.
well, I don't have to worry. You know what I mean? They don't take up any. I don't have to have shelf space. I don't have to. It's just all right there, ready to access whenever I want to log in and access it. So
Mhm.
there's always that.
Yeah, no, the VTTs play a crucial. I think they have gotten to a point where they play a crucial role in the tabletop scene. Bar none, like that's a fact. They play a crucial role in the scene. You can't argue again. You can't argue against that one. It is what it is. For me, I'm wondering how far it's going to go. That's kind of why I'm bringing it up now. It's like, how far is this going to go? How intricate are these VTTs going to get? Because if you've, I don't know if any of you have taken a look at the information that's out there on the one being developed by WotC, it's pretty in depth. Like they are sparing no expense to make this look really good. Again, harking back to our early topic of visual effects. I mean, they're throwing everything in there, everything in the kitchen sink.
Foxy.
You know,
I much prefer the physical books for sure. I mean, I have a whole personal collection of physical books. It's much easier for me to sit down, curl up with a book and enjoy it and read it.
I think that what you just said there, I think the reason why, and again, it's not everyone, but I think the vast majority, I'm going to say the majority, not the vast majority, I'm going to say the majority of tabletop players right now, in my opinion, do prefer the physical book for a number of reasons. Either they're older, they were around and played TTRPGs before the VTTs came out, or like Foxy is stating, or has stated, it's more personal. You get there's that tactile feel that you don't get with sitting at your computer or on your phone or your tablet, which I completely understand, because sometimes when I have to read information for a game, I much prefer an actual physical book.
If you rank those, let's just look at those for a moment as three options, okay? If you rank those three options, so you have video games, you have VTT tabletop, and then you have in-person tabletop, literally sitting at the table playing a game with folks. I think the one that has the least amount of player agency is video games, but there's a balance there for the things that they offer that the other two don't.
Yeah, and it will depend upon the particular game, but yeah, inherently, at the end of the day, yeah, you are correct that
VTT offers more player agency than a video game, because you still have, it's still you who are in control of that character. You're the one playing the character. And then the ultimate piece to it is, let's sit down, and even if you're using miniatures and maps and things like that, which a lot of games are geared more towards that. Personally, I'm more of a theater of the mind person. So my version of tabletop isn't even really sitting around a table. It's more or less, sitting in the living room, the little recliners and sofa and stuff. Let's be comfortable, have some pizza and beer, and be comfortable and play a game.
Man, I need to go over to Greg's house.
But That's how I see it. As far as player agency goes, I think it really is in that order. Love video games, but they have the least amount of player agency. Then the VTTs are definitely behind face to face. Sit around the table, let's play a game. Because
True.
you don't have the assets and maps piece unless you choose to put them in there. Like I said, some games are just designed around those assets and maps, like Warhammer. I mean, that's an
Yeah.
assets and maps game. You can make that a role-playing game if you want to, and there are versions of it that are out there. They're designed to be more on the side of role-playing, but ultimately, like Warhammer 40K and whatnot are they're battle games
They're
more than anything else,
Yeah,
right?
they're battle games. Yeah, they're combat games. Which, ironically, for those of you who don't know, your TTRPG history, that's how it started.
Oh, absolutely. That's Dungeons and Dragons actually started out. It basically was a step away from a traditional board game because that's the original Dungeons and Dragons was essentially a traditional board game. Just you're in a dungeon and you get to play a role. You're not just the car, the dog, the hat, or whatever Monopoly reference I can throw out there for you.
So we've been talking. What do you guys think? Freybrand, Jenny, what do y'all think about what we've been kind of talking so far? And the chat, please, for those of you who are in our chat. I want you guys to chime in as well. Dead silence.
Absolutely dead silence. Sorry.
It's all right, man. We like just sitting here on the stream in silence.
Original question, actually. What?
He can't hear me, Rob. So you're gonna have to answer that.
Oh, hold up. No, I can't hear anything.
No problem. Can you hear me, Frey?
Okay, I can hear Rob now. Yeah.
Okay.
Still can't hear Greg, but nothing new there.
Yeah, it's good again.
He doesn't say anything important anyway.
I know.
You heard that.
That's all right, Greg. I know you're not saying anything important.
Well, it's primarily for you. When it comes to the player agency, and what delivers that best. We kind of ranked it. Myself and Greg kind of ranked it as, of the three, we have video games, virtual tabletops, and then in-person tabletop, where video games has the least player agency. Virtual tabletops offers a greater bit of agency, but in-person TTRPG, a game session offers you the greatest amount of agency and effect on the game. What's your take on that, man? As someone who's done all three.
Yeah, actually. Because at my hobby store I go to, I do occasionally jump into one-shots and proceed to shit and giggle as I go, doing goofy things in those one-shots. Those are always fun. The person-to-person, like, meetups, those are great. And I mean, even back in the day when I just had my PS2 and the homies would come over and play split screen and whatnot, that was always fun as well.
Oh yeah.
Because if your friend shit talks you, you can always just haul off and deck him when he's right next to you. But
what a nice guy.
So
what a nice guy.
Kind of been something I've enjoyed more. But we've been doing the virtual kind of tabletop RPG stuff for a while now, and that's kind of got me more into stuff like D&D and obviously Cyberpunk and all that other stuff. So I mean, I'd probably rank it as in-person stuff primarily, and that also comes from me being a very big Warhammer 40K player.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
Yeah, just you and the guys hanging out, rolling dice, and laughing as I roll a pathetic amount of ones. Happens way more often than you think. It's horrible, but it does feel bad. Feels real bad.
He sounds like Demon.
So probably that is number one. Then like kind of virtual tabletop stuff, like what we do with D&D and all that, I'd rank second. Video games, I mean, video games. It's one thing if you're playing by yourself. It's another thing if you got a friend with you and you're just shooting the shit like what we did with Space Marine 2, and had some good laughs playing that. So got to enjoy watching the angriest dreadnought alive absolutely destroy everything in sight. Brother
Yep.
Valius is amazing. Yeah, I mean, so that's kind of my 2 cents on it. I think if you have people that you know and you regularly play with in video games and multiplayer games, it definitely improves that a bit more. But
So you're kind of on the same page as us with regards to that.
I listened
that's
in on some of those games. These guys they get super serious when they're playing that game. So just FYI.
Look, the Emperor put heretics in our way, and we must smite them. That's just it.
Exactly.
That's what it is. All right.
I don't know where I am. I don't know why I'm here. All I know is that I have to kill those damn aliens because they're not humans.
Damn right. For the Emperor.
Mm-hmm.
Shit. Out here questioning my faith. You're gonna get a visit from the Inquisition, Greg. Keep that up.
I think it's amazing because Warhammer is like the game where, and there are some, but I mean, it is like the game where racism is like glorified and alive and well. And
racism, hatred,
you're wrong if you're not racist in Warhammer 40K.
It's justified because all the aliens out there are trying to kill us.
Exactly. See, yeah, and Fred Brand is right. It is justified. It's justified because everything's trying to kill humanity, man. Hell, even humanity's trying to kill humanity, so that hasn't fucking changed.
You're goddamn right. And if we can't kill each other, then what good is there? Anyways.
Yep. So, yeah, but no, that's another side note. That's another franchise that I absolutely love, because it takes the things that are normally dark and kind of serious, and if you really kind of take a macro view of Warhammer 40K, you can laugh at the genocide and the fucking racism. You can laugh at it because it's so overblown and over the top. Like, it's not meant to be taken seriously.
No.
It's meant to be laughed at.
You're doing it wrong.
Yeah, it's meant to be laughed at. Come on. But it's that's one thing that I will say, though. The Black Library have done a fantastic job of building the world out and building the lore and writing the books and all that jazz.
Oh, yeah.
Good times. But, what's our next topic? I think we're out of topics for today, Greg. Unless there was something you wanted to talk about.
Head polish.
Head polish. What about head polish?
I think that was a bald joke, Greg.
Well, yeah. I kind of just let that one, skip off the polish, right? Anyway,
say it went over your head a little bit. I'll stop.
Indeed it did. For somebody who can't hear me, he sure seems to like it's psychic or something, right?
I think he might have the stream unmuted on his phone.
Yeah, that is true.
So, well,
but did you have?
Well, actually, talking a little bit about another game genre that's out there, system that's out there that is represented in all three aspects, and that's Fallout.
True.
With the introduction of the TTRPG from Modiphius for Fallout, you can play Fallout as a tabletop RPG. You can play tabletop in a BTT. You can play tabletop, or you can play it as the video games.
Video game.
And that's one of the most recent announcements coming out of Bethesda about that is some future updates that are coming for the Fallout world universe, I guess you could say.
Huh. Well, I know they are doing um
Fallout Day.
they're doing Fallout Day
hmm
coming in.
Fallout Day.
Huh.
It's
Okay.
yeah. Actually, hold on just a second. And okay, if you let me do that. Okay. Yeah. So with the Fallout series, yeah, I forgot to mention that Fallout series, which is phenomenal, by the way. Um, Part of the announcement they made is that Fallout 5 is nowhere near being something yet. But they are doing some long-awaited basically new gen updates for Fallout 4. It's going to be coming out, and Fallout 76 Skyline Valley expansion.
Okay then.
So,
Fallout has been getting quite a lot of action lately. I mean, you had the Fallout the
Fallout Day is
London.
actually today, by the way.
Is it? Okay,
It
well
is.
shit. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go see if Tim Kaine posted anything on his YouTube channel about it, because he is the creator of Fallout, one of them anyway. Yeah, they've been getting a lot of traction. I mean, number one, the TV show is fantastic, so that's already greenlit for season 2. I mean, it was greenlit, I'm pretty sure, before the first season even finished. I think they're in pre-production right now. I think. Well, they might even be
For
shooting
season
season
2?
2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they might be shooting already. And then the game Fallout 4, I believe it was Fallout 4, got a huge, like, a community mod called Fallout London.
Yep.
Basically, it ported the Fallout universe to London, and and it's all community driven. I mean, you have quests, you have story, all of it is lore appropriate. I wouldn't say lore accurate, but it's heavily lore based, but talking about what happened, outside of the U.S. when the nuclear war happened. And they have quests, they have monsters, they have and everything. They created all of London, and it's really really well done.
There's another fan-based project that's been out there for a couple of years now that hasn't come to fruition yet, but it's Fallout Miami. And
I've
that's
heard of that one too.
still under development. I mean, they haven't like canceled it or anything yet, but
Yeah, I think it might be done by the same team that did Fallout
London.
London, I think so.
Well, it definitely is a good. I like the idea that they decided to expand it over and go with London, because that's been a topic of debate for a very long time, and Bethesda's always been very clear about, we're not going to go
touching
overseas,
that.
right? We're just going to. We got plenty of content right here in the United States, so
which they're not wrong, but also it's like, okay, well, we know what happened here in the U.S. for the most part. Everything's fucked. We get that. What happened to the rest of the world? Is it just the U.S. that's on its little fucking island of shit, and the rest of the world's fine? But now you understand that no, everybody got fucked.
Right.
So yeah, I honestly, I think Bethesda needs to take a page out of the this mod team's book. Hell, I'd even hire them personally if I had to. If I was the one with the purse and had to say so, I would have hired them and made that official content.
I do think that as they move forward with this, and probably, maybe one of the holdups for Fallout 5 is, at some point they have to make some major updates. Maybe, maybe not the engine, because I mean Bethesda uses the same engine for everything, but story. You can't just keep telling the same old story over and over and over again. You know what I mean? I think that's one of the reasons why people really liked Fallout New Vegas, is because it's the same story elements for the most part, but it definitely took a little different direction as far as that Fallout story went.
It took you to a different perspective on it was set in the same world, like you said, same story elements, same faction, the Brotherhood of Steel, etc., all those guys, but you had a different perspective of the story. And yeah, I think you're right. They've not going to say they've exhausted the content that they have, for the core, Fallout stories.
Right.
But
you can only tell story about so many chapters of the Brotherhood of Steel all over the place before
yeah,
like,
exactly.
okay, what else is, okay,
What
the
else? What happened?
Minutemen in Fallout 4, but they're not really anything. So
Yeah, like and here's the thing. One of the biggest questions, like you said, that fans of Fallout have always had is like, okay, we know what happened in the U.S. What happened to the rest of the world?
mhm.
You know, like, is there any place that's safe aside from these vaults that we come to learn aren't exactly safe? They were fucking
I want to know what happened in
projects.
Sierra Leone.
Yeah,
That's what I want
they
to
were
learn.
projects. They were testing grounds for bullshit. Like, especially like the early vaults that you come to find out, especially if you watch the show. Spoiler alert. Highly recommend you watch the show. But yeah, I mean, you're right. Fallout is one of the. I didn't even think of that, but good catch. Yeah, it's one of those games that is moving cross-platform. Actually another one is Cyberpunk
Yes.
2077, Cyberpunk Red, which was the third iteration of the tabletop, and then you have the link between them. I think we talked about this a little bit in our last episode. What is this new Cyberpunk Edgerunners mission kit?
Yep.
So, and yes, for those of you who have not played it, definitely check it out.
Which by the way, for GaryCon 2025, I will be running part 2 of the adventure that I started last year for GaryCon. There's 4-hour sessions, so 16 hours of content for GaryCon last year. There'll be another 16 hours of content for 2025, or actually this year, sorry. There'll be another 16 hours of content for 2025. It'll be part 2 of that same story, and we're going to blend in the mission kit. So you can have some of the new toys. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right, because the story is based off of our private game, and our private story. For those of you who played the first 4 episodes, you got to meet some characters from our personal game and experience some of that. And it is set in 2077, canonically speaking. Yeah. So that's gonna be fun. Yeah, we're definitely getting that worked on. I wonder who they're gonna meet this time.
I don't know yet, or at least I'm not saying.
Yeah, I think aside from that,
I think Otis would be fun.
Otis would be fun.
Otis would be fun.
Otis would be a
Did
fun.
I hear my
your cabbie,
my glorious cabbie? Fuck, what's the name of the guy? The people who aren't in the city. Nomads.
Nomads. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Just a big ass nomad with a shotgun.
Yep. Shotgun and a cab. That's all you need in life. Shotgun and cab. But yeah, there's a number of interesting characters.
It's not just any shotgun. That's Sheila you're talking about.
That's right.
Oh yeah, big Sheila. Full auto drum fed shotty.
Oh man, modified. Every time you mention that, I think of a modified AA-12.
I mean, she pretty much is a modified AA-12.
Pretty much.
That's what I think.
What was the other gun he had? I think he had his other gun was just a hand cannon that he named like Daisy or something. And he can't use Daisy too often because Sheila will get jealous. But anyhow.
This is canon, folks. Like it's happened. We've watched it happen. All right. But yeah, I believe that's the end of episode 72. Well, housekeeping pieces. We are there's conversation being had with the creator of Vampire the Masquerade. I have to look up his name. I can't believe I have to do that because I completely spaced on it. Because it's a long. That's not a long name. Where is he? It's Mark.
So go ahead.
Yeah, Mark.
That Mark guy.
Mark Rain Hagen. There we go. I hopefully I pronounced that.
So
Ryan
yeah,
Hagen.
we're looking at having the creator or one of the creators of Vampire the Masquerade on as a guest.
Yep. As a guest, yes.
Yeah, we're also going. We haven't got a date yet on it, but we are going to have Thomas Herenstam back, and we're going to be doing something special right around the release of Alien Second Edition, and some other folks.
Yeah, we've got quite a lineup coming up in the next couple months here for folks to come on again, industry vets to come on and talk about the things that they've worked on, they're working on, give us a sneak peek at stuff that they're doing. Because keep in mind, a lot of these guys have been doing this stuff for 20, 30 plus years. So
well, a lot of these guys have been engaged or involved in developing some of the most iconic products.
Yes.
That are out there right now. And that's it gets missed. I mean, who actually created some of the stuff that we love. And high profile people like Steve Jobs of Apple and whatever, Elon Musk. I mean, high profile people. But when you're looking at the games industry, I think a lot of the people easily get missed. I mean, as high profile as he is in some areas, a lot of people have no idea who Mike Pondsmith is.
Yep.
So,
I have no idea yet. He's created one of the most iconic universes.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people have absolutely no idea who Gary Gygax is either. So, or was.
Yeah, Gary Gygax or Chris Metzen, who is one of the lead narrative designers for World of Warcraft back in its heyday, who's finally come back to the studio. Excited for that. Yeah, I mean, there's ton in the gaming industry. The developers and creators, unless you get to a certain point, and if you're running around in certain circles, nobody knows who you are. They'll know who the studio is. Like, people know who Blizzard is, people know who Activision is, etc., etc. They know the games, but ask them who developed this at this time. Yeah, I could tell you. So it's good to shine a light on those folks and give them their flowers for the work that they've done, because it's like you said, Greg, they've worked on some of genre-defining games. Like, we wouldn't have certain things if these guys hadn't worked on it.
Right.
So, but yeah, so keep an ear out for that. And again, we will be talking about more about Gary Con and kind of our role in that as we get closer.
As a matter of fact, I think we're going to jump over and visit Chaotic Good Gaming tonight. And Chaotic Good Gaming, Garner is actually, I believe it's the media relations person for GaryCon. So
sweet.
He runs a live game on Twitch, and tonight they're playing D&D Shadows and Light episode 45. So we're going to jump over there and see what's going on. If you have not or if you're not familiar with him, hang out for a little bit, check him out, show him some love, give him a follow. And thank you very much for being here tonight with us.
Adios, guys.
Cool.
If only I had the timing thing. That's
Greg, we've been doing this for how long?
I think I'm just going to make this part of the stream. This is like, okay, yeah, we're good night.
This is what we do, which is fun.
Thank you, everybody. Y'all have a good night. We'll see you next Wednesday, if not before.
Adios.